Kick and chase by Mullins. Kick and chase again by Mullins. It'll be a miracle. Oh, it is a miracle. Fafita tries to crash his way over. He does. Fafita got the ball over the line.
Hunter's kick is over the sideline for a 40-20.
Yeah, g'day champions and welcome to 40-20 Sports. Round 9 teams are in. We're going to have a bit of a look at the buy, hold, sells as we do every single week. Some big ins, some bigger outs. I think there's a good opportunity to make up some ground here. We've got some good options to trade out, some smart options to trade out, specifically around a couple of Roosters and a couple of Canberra Raiders players. But before we get into that, massive congratulations to Jamie, coach of the Clovelly Crocodiles, with a score of 1,611. Topped the 40-20 Cup this week. Huge score from you. And also, we've got a new change of the leaderboard. Cockadoodle-Doo is winning the 40-20 Cup. They are on 9,305 points, sitting in 15th spot overall. Huge effort. Fingers crossed you've got some trades left, mate. The Ferrets this week, we had a good week. 1,436 points for us. We are ranked 2,075th overall, and we've jumped up into 43rd in the 40-20 Cup. Real big moving week for us. The last couple of weeks, I've sort of been concentrating on buying players, not so much with their matchups, and it's sort of been showing. I've also been a bit unlucky with injuries and whatnot, but been more concentrating on the actual player than their matchup. The first couple of weeks I've been doing that. It hasn't really played out too well, but it's sort of all coming ahead now. 1,436, super happy with that. Massive uptick in our positioning, so we're really, really happy with how everything's going. Really happy with how our team's going. Bit up in the air about what I should be doing this week. Really need to start saving some trades, but there's just some really good options that I can go with trading people out and trading people back in. So we're going to have a bit of a look into that, look at our players that we think are good options at getting rid of. And, you know, we're sort of sitting in a really good position now, 2,000th. Really good position in our head-to-head league that we're in, our main one with our cash, that we've got a bit of stuff going on there with a couple of the boys. But yeah, look, we'll probably look to make some moves. I've just got to try and talk myself out of it more than anything to try and save some trades, because we are burning through them. This year's been a really tricky one with injuries, and not so much injuries, but the injuries are playing a part. But another thing is just the amount of good options that keep popping up every single week that are cheapies, but we can upgrade. And the sooner we get a great 17 and a good 20, the better it is for our team. So there's just been really good options the last couple of weeks, so we've been burning through the trades. But anyway, we'll get into the team lists, see who we've got as options. Souths, we're looking at Jai Gray. There's a bit of whispers that he's going to get that fullback role. Look, I wouldn't be jumping on. Just with the new coach coming in now, Jason Demetriou has been sacked, so there could be a number of options that happen with this team in the next couple of weeks. None of them of which I'm sure about. Jacob Gagai got an 88 last week. He's bottom dollar. Anyone that's held him is going to pay dividends for that. Massive break even on him. Look, he's just got to take the field and he's going to make a heap of cash. Look, he's a decent option to buy, I think. He's probably not the primo option, but an 88 last week, that is going to be in his rolling average for the next couple of weeks, so that's really good for him. The concerning part is AJ is set to come back in the next couple of weeks, so he's probably looking at just a cash grab and then he's out. So not a great deal going on there. Dean Hawkins has a great BE, but again, I wouldn't be touching him. Not against the Penny Panthers. I can't see them getting many points. Look, there's not a great deal going on with Souths. I'm not too interested in anyone there. Cam Murray had a good week last week, got in the 80s, but again, coming up against Penrith, I'm just not sure about it. Look, we can nearly skip over them, to be honest. There isn't a great deal going on for South Sydney. For Penrith, Taylor May. Now, look, if you have Taylor May, he's 390k now. Just hold him. I wouldn't be selling him out. I think if you've got the likes of Schiller and Ethan Strange, I'd be more inclined to sell them. Taylor May, he's probably not going to go much lower than about a 380 or 370 anyway. Just hold him, keep him for the bye rounds. Fingers crossed he gets some attacking stats. I wouldn't be selling. Anyway. Look, you could possibly think of, if you do not have Schiller and you don't have these guys, Ethan Strange and whatnot, You could potentially go tailor-made down to a cheapy option this week or next week, but still, I'd just be leaving him. Sunia Taruva, he comes back into the squad. A lot of people, before team list came out, I saw were pretty keen on Paul Alamotti. Yeah, I think that's just playing with fire a little bit. Taruva's been there for the last couple of years. He's proven himself now that he is a world-class winger. I don't think they're just going to risole him just because he's signed with another club. I don't think that's how they roll. I think he'll probably be the out-and-out starter there at the wing spot for the Penrith Panthers. So probably look to avoid Paul Alamotti in the near future. Unless there is an injury, then he would be a decent pickup. Nathan Cleary had a bit of a disappointing round. I know a lot of people brought him in and captained him. A 51 from him. I was an owner, but like I said, the last couple of weeks I've sort of been purchasing players not based on their matchup but their potential. So Cleary, he's as good a bet as ever. Super happy with him. Having him in my side, I'm now running him and Nico Hines. So potentially the best half pairing, in the game that you could hope for. So we're running with that. Not a great deal going on. Isaiah Yeo keeps churning out big games. Not as large as what he has been going. I'm just a little bit worried about Isaiah Yeo now that he does have the likes of Moses Leota, Fisher Harris back there. He was sort of the standout guy, pulling his weight a little bit more. Those guys have been out the last couple of weeks. They are back. I would nearly be inclined to get rid of Yo if you can move him on to an Eliesa Katoa or something like that if you don't have him. I wouldn't be trading him over to a Dave Fafita or nothing, but you could leave him. I'm just worried that Isaiah Yeo gets 50s from here on out up until Origin, and then you lose a bit of cash. So not an important one, but just one to look at. Keep an eye on his price increases and his break-evens over the next couple of weeks. Other than that, not a great deal going on. Maverick Guy slots into a bench spot, but I don't think he's an option at all for the next couple of weeks, so I'd probably be leaving him. For the Manly-Canberra game, now there's a lot of talk about Tom Trbojevic getting sold this week. I cannot believe it. The next 2 weeks, they go Canberra into the Dolphins. Dolphins are missing a heap of players. Canberra are missing a heap of players. Canberra at home. Look, he had a bit of an average week last week, I would say. Only getting the 50. A lot of people captained him as well. But look, I'm looking. No way am I getting rid of Tom Trbojevic. I don't think that's the play. I don't think that's a realistic option for me either. Look, he's break even's 100, but he could get that within QE. He got 101 up against the Penrith Panthers squad at home. So the rarity of fullbacks going 100 against a Penrith squad is as rare as they come. Like I said, Raiders into the Dolphins, Broncos the week after, which is a bit of a challenging one. If I was to sell him, which I'm not going to, it would be round 11 is what I would be looking at. The next 2 games, you've got Canberra and the Dolphins. I'll be keeping him for that. If you were looking to get rid of him, Brisbane, Melbourne, rounds 11 and 12 into Origin. There is a world where I could see him getting traded out for Drinkwater at that stage. Drinky's still got a massive BE, so I'm not looking at going him yet. Although I do think Drinkwater probably will be my fullback running into the Origin period. So one to keep an eye on. The Canberra into the Dolphins, I just think there's points up for grabs there for Tommy. Hopefully he can go 100, raise some cash, get him into that Broncos game up against a hard matchup. Up there at Suncorp as well, that's for Magic Round. Somehow that's a home game for the Eagles. But anyway, into Melbourne. And then after the bye, they've got Penrith. So I think everyone might be going a bit early on Tommy. Maybe wait until round 11. Other than that, what are we running here? We have got Jason Saab, Cooler, Ruben Garrick. Ruben Garrick must buy this week if you do not own him. He is bottomed out in price. He is one of the most traded in players this round. Looks the best option out of anyone. The traded in over nearly 20,000 teams have opted to buy him in this week. Great purchase, 604k. He's gone down 118k, so you get a discount on him. He was one of the players I was talking about. I sort of got on him a couple of weeks ago and he pumped out a 38, which was a bit disappointing, but I knew he had these scores in him. Knew he had an easy run coming up, so jumped on him. He's got a break even of 4. He'll shit that in. Yeah, look, he'll be a set and forget. He's a captaincy option through the Origin period. must have, I believe. He'll have a lower BE as well for the next 2 weeks, so he's a really good option, I think. For the rest of the teams there, look, a lot of people are looking at moving Brooks on. I can sort of see the Brooks move now. I've been putting out fires everywhere else other than him. So I think it's starting to get to a stage now where we're going to have to look at getting rid of Brooks. I'm actually running a Luke Brooks Galvin 5'8" option at the moment, just with getting Cleary in next week. 482k, break even of 68, projected score of 44. He's set to lose another 20 kilos, so 20k. So next week you could be looking at getting about 460. So hopefully my play will try and be Luke Brooks into a Dylan Brown. Dylan Brown's bottomed out as well by this week, but next week, if we can go Luke Brooks to Dillbags, the word on Gutho is that he is out for 4 to 5 weeks, which sort of helps us. We'll get onto that a little bit later, but Dillbags looked to kick goals towards the end of the game last week. I don't know if that'll happen with Sean Russell coming back into the side next week, so that's one to watch. We'll have to see that. After what happened with Micah Sevo, I highly doubt he gets another run next week other than the brain fade he had against this Manly outfit. So we'll see what happens there. But Luke Brooks, he just hasn't been performing as well as we would like. Started the season really, really well. I thought it's a masterstroke when we first got him in, 59, 80, 53. Since then, he has only gone over 50 once, and that's been a 55. The last 3 weeks has been in the 40s. So, look, the matchups have been really good. The game where he got 55 was against Penrith as well, so I wouldn't have expected that. But the Warriors, Titans, Para, 49, 41 and 40. He's going backwards. I was sort of hoping that Luke Brooks would get the reins this week with DCE, hopefully getting a week and get a bit of points out of him, but it doesn't look like that's happening. Look like DCE is free to play, so anyone looking at DCE, he's free to play. Don't stress about him. Hamal Olakawadu is out for 2 to 3 weeks, I think. I can't remember exactly what it is, 2 or 3. But Ethan Bullimore comes into the starting squad. I would not be going anywhere near him. Corey Waddell, decent without being a serious option, I don't think. Other than that, they are pretty stock standard on the bench there. No one of too much significance there. The Raiders, they are in absolute all sorts. They got absolutely towed up by the poor old, no, sorry, not the poor old Sharkies, but the Sharkies last week. Yeah, I just fucking... It's sort of the Canberra that we thought we were going to see throughout the start of the season. They started off really, really well, but there are some worrying signs for that Canberra Raiders outfit. Their whole mentality at the start of the year was their forward pack and how dominant their forward pack was being. Their forward pack was dominated by Tommy Hazelton and Oregon Kaufusi. It didn't look good. That Tommy Hazelton try up against Joe Tarpanay. Joe Tarpanay looked like he didn't give a shit to tackle him or not. So it was pretty average viewing for Joey Tarpanay and Joey Tarpanay owners. I'm pretty sure Tarpanay gave himself a bit of a razzing in the presser. So that is one to look at. We'll run through it. Xavier Savage continues to go decent, although I do think he is a sell. I think it's everyone aboard these Canberra Raiders players now that Jamal Fogarty is out. He was the glue that was holding them together. His kicking game was exceptional. Now that you've got these young guys, Ethan Strange and KO Weeks in the halves, none of them has really taken control of a NRL team yet. They're both super, super young, so I'm super nervous for the next couple of weeks for the Canberra Raiders. I don't know what they're going to do there, but yeah, James Schiller, he is now a sell. He is 480-something K. Look, you can do wonders with that. Him not playing, Nick Kotrick comes into that side. Schiller, he bombed a couple last week. He had options there where he could have 100% scored, but fell to the wayside. So Nick Kotrick comes back into that side. James Schiller, I'd be looking at selling. Ethan Strange is another one. You can get rid of him for sure. Not a drama there. They are both the two most sold players. 25,000 people are jumping off Strange. 20,000 are jumping off Schiller. Strange with a break-even of 103. He's now 505k. Again, you can do wonders with what is going on with that. You've sort of got nearly $1 million just in those two guys gone. So you can go down to a cheapie and go up to a proven gun. So really good option to get rid of those two guys this week. In the forwards, Danny Levi, he looked absolutely gassed. He doesn't get through a mountain of work, but he just seemed really, really tired. I'm really worried about it. I keep saying this every single week. I just can't be bothered with the hooking position. I'm not going to trade Danny Levi to a Brayley if, what do I get out of it? Harry Grant. I've got Harry Grant. During the Origin period, Danny Levi and Jaden Brayley. Look, I might, if you've got 14 players, 15 players for the 13-round Origin period, for those bye periods, you probably don't even get Danny Levi's score anyway. So I don't see the option of doing that. I'm just going to leave him there. Hopefully he can go on a bit more of a try-scoring run and go up in price. But if he doesn't, I think he might sit there for most of the year, to be honest. I'm not too keen on wasting a trade there. Another guy we've got here on our radar that's been quite highly sold is Morgan Smithies. He's 500k. Again, look, if you wanted to jump off him, I can understand jumping off him, but he's made 155k. His break-even is 65. I don't think there's a world where he gets that, although the bench looks a little bit more skinny than what it has been the last couple of weeks. 45 last week. He's sort of going on a bit of a trajectory where he's just getting mid-40s, but if he keeps those mid-40s up, he's not going to lose a heap of cash, which is really good. He's got a bit of a decent run. He's got the Seagulls into the Dogs, although he is not an attacking player at all. So I think there's a world where him getting a harder matchup will be beneficial for him. A bit like Max Plath. I'll get onto him a bit later, but it'll be beneficial for Morgan Smithies if he just gets a hard matchup, because all he'll do is tackle. And that's what we need from him. Only 63 minutes last week. It was decent, 45. If I get that for round 13, if I've got a bloke there that I know that's going to get me 45, I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest. I don't think I'll be selling him. I think there's bigger issues. Yeah, he's good coverage. I'm happy to keep him. Fingers crossed he starts pumping out more 70 to 80 minutes a week. I don't see it, but like I said, the bench is a little bit skinnier than what it has been of late. So fingers crossed he can get pumping out some minutes. For the late Friday game, we've got the Broncos up against the Roosters. This should be an absolute cracker. Roosters are coming off a really dominant win. So are the Brisbane Broncos, and they get a couple of superstars back. The Broncos are welcoming Selwyn Cobbo and Ezra Mann both back into the fold, so that'll be really good. Reece Walsh, Adam Reynolds named, really good to see. I brought in Reece Walsh last week, 74, decent. He'll start going up in price over the next couple of weeks. I was a bit worried there for a while when I saw him running around, but it was just severe cramp by the looks of things. Had a bit of a sore leg, but he seems to have shaken that off. Jesse Arthur's moves back onto the wing. He's been really impressive the last couple of weeks as well. Selwyn Cobbo comes into the centre, like I said, and Dean Mariner. Look, if Dean Mariner could catch the fucking ball, Reece Walsh would have turned up. I was absolutely devastated being a Reece Walsh owner. I know how heavily reliant he is on attacking stats. Dean Mariner, open line, gave him the ball and he just fumbled it. He got a bit of white line fever, I suppose, and thought he scored the try before he got anywhere near it. But I was watching that and I thought, oh, fuck, Reece Walsh, he just relies so heavily on attacking stats that I thought, oh, there's 30 points, 25 points, gone begging sort of thing. But anyway, he still did good, 74 points. We bought him at 600, so we're expecting 60s out of him. 74, that's an uptick for us. He will start going up in price. Like I said, Adam Reynolds, he's fine. Bit of severe cramping. One of the world's best intercept passes you'll ever see. Jumped onto that. Payne Haas is back. Look, I imagine the next couple of weeks he'll still be managed with a bit of fatigue. Maybe not next week, but this week, I think. Oh, then again, he's up against the Roosters, so he could be used for some bigger minutes. But look, I wouldn't be jumping on Payne Haas. He's in for Origin. Just to worry about his minutes, I'm probably going to avoid him. Brendan Piakura had a really good return. If you kept onto him, fantastic work. I don't know how many people did, but look, the next couple of weeks, he could be a bit of an option. 441k, got a 55 last week. He's got a break even of 24. So it's not emergency stations. We don't have to jump onto him. But the run is really good leading up into Origin for Brendan and the whole Broncos team. If you've got Broncos players, you're probably in a really good position at the moment. Now, 48, 57 and 55 are his last three scores. So that's why his BE is still quite high in the 20s. But still, the worrying thing was that he only played 68 minutes, but I think that is just, again, due to coming back into the fold. He was playing 80 minutes before that, so I don't see that being any other option. But next couple of weeks, he's got the Roosters this week, bit of a hard matchup. Para, Manly, Gold Coast, Sharks, Souths, New Zealand into the bye rounds. So, like I said, the draw opens up. He doesn't play round 13, but then there's a lot of people I'm talking to are really worried about round 13. I've already got 12 players for round 13. Round 14 is going to be the tester. I think that was the same with last year. We get 3 trades for round 13. So even if you don't use a boost, you can get 3 people in. So you only really need 10 people going into round 13, 16, 19 if that's what you're doing. The difficult part is going to be 14, 17, and 20. And he plays all 3 of those. So he's really good coverage for that. I probably not looking at him unless something comes up next week where he's a decent buy and one of the guns in the 2RFs has a bit of an injury or something looking there. But I still think he's good value, 441k. Excuse me, could be a decent option. For the rest there, Patrick Carrigan continues to punch out big minutes. Xavier Willison. Look, only a 30-something there last week with Payne Haas. I think Payne Haas's minutes are set to extend. I think they will chew into Xavier Willison's more than anything. I mean, he's still there. You can probably leave him. Like I said, the same with Brendan Piakura. Excellent coverage on those 14, 17, 20 rounds, so you could always leave him. For the Roosters, Jimmy Tedesco in the one at the Roosters. Look, I'm starting to think more and more likely he isn't going to play Origin. I know that's a massive call. He's the captain, but there are so many good options there at fullback now, like Dill Edwards. I think that try-saving tackle that Dylan Edwards did on Jeremiah Nanai over the weekend was phenomenal. I think Madge would have saw that. He just picked it. He was in the clear. Jeremiah Nanai is a renowned try-scoring second-row forward. He scores that against every other fullback in the competition, nearly, I believe. No other fullback in the competition, I think, could have done what Dylan Edwards did. I don't think any other fullback will be able to pick him up and drive him from 5 metres out. Well, I think Madge would have saw that and said, yep, that's the icing on the cake. The defence, the defence of the whole Penrith side is amazing. So I highly unlikely that James Tedesco gets picked at the fullback. Whether I am looking at going him or not, highly sceptical, highly doubtful. I think there's better options there in fullback over those couple of weeks. But anyway, moving down, we have got Joey Manu, who had a decent game as well. He keeps punching out 80s, even in centre. I sort of called it that I thought, oh no, he'll sort of peter off coming into being in the centres. I knew he was going to go large for that fullback game, but doing what he's doing at the moment in the centres, super impressive. Look, I pray the next couple of weeks that he goes down in price and I can pick him up for Origin a little bit cheaper. He has got a couple of tough matchups coming in. They've got the Broncos, Warriors, Sharks. Then they've got Canberra, Cowboys. So, look, I think for Origin, period, he's going to be a must. Whether I can pick him up or not, I don't know if I can afford him if he's sitting around 800 to 900k, so that's for sure. But anyway, we'll run with that. Dom Young on the wing got an 88. Look, that's probably a decent score. I thought in a 60-point romp, I probably would have seen more from him. But again, they just chewed him up the middle, so he didn't see that much ball. Sitting at 562k, break even of 101 points, sorry. He's down 77,000. If he gets his projected of 65, which against the Broncos outfit, I'm not too sure he will, he'll be a 100k discount. He'll be a 100k discount from a Knights team to a Roosters team. I think they like using the right-hand edge a lot more than the left this year, although Tupou's been scoring tries at will out on that left-hand side. I think the next couple of weeks, Dom Young, a lot of people are going to be scarred about the minus 14 and the low scores. But I think Dom Young over the Origin period is going to be a really, really valuable asset to teams. I'm not jumping on him this week, but the next couple of weeks, put Dom Young in your back pocket. Even if he's burnt you before, go again. Sammy Walker, huge, 170-something. Just had his finger and everything. The kicking game was phenomenal. He didn't miss a goal. Just looked really impressive. I'm not sure many people have him. I'm not sure who would have him. He was a bit up and down at the start of the season. A lot of head knocks, HIAs. Most people would have jumped off. But, yeah, still, Sammy Walker, huge score from him. Angus Crichton, wowee. Look, there's a lot of talk about Angus Crichton now. I hope it simmers down. I hope he just calms down a little bit because I do not want him playing Origin, that's for sure. 594k. He's got a break even of 11. Look, he's going to go up. He's going to go up continuously. I think he's going to be worth around 700k in the next couple of weeks. Whether he's worth 700k going into Origin or not is another thing. I think he probably does. I think the next couple of weeks he's going to really grind out some games. I can't see him going any larger than a 60 or 70 sort of thing against the Broncos because the defense is really good, but still his base and his offloads, 5 offloads over the week, really impressive. He's made 185k for people who got on him on the early stages, so that's awesome to see. But still, 2,215 teams have jumped on him this week. I think he's a good buy. I think he's going to be an out-and-out gun this year. He's got the potential to go 100 plus against the lesser teams week in, week out. 594k, I think, compared to what Crichton used to do in the NRL periods, 594k. If he was at the start of the year in his prime at under 600k, I'd jump on him and I'd start with him for sure every day of the week. So I still think he's a good buy. If you're looking at someone and you've got Eliesa Katoa and stuff like that, and you want to make a jump and you're looking at David Fifita's score, look at Gus if you don't have him. I think really good option. Moving into the rest of that, we've got Nat Butcher. He scored really well, although there was a bit of talk coming out from Trent Robinson that Nat Butcher was potentially going to miss some minutes and have come on the bench for a fair bit of time just because of his last couple of opportunities and last couple of games he's played. Connor Watson in the 13 was massive. Didn't get as many minutes as what the regular sort of number 13 did, I don't think, but still, if it wasn't for the 4 forward bench there, I think Connor Watson would be a really, really good buy. I think a really, really good buy. He's got a break even of 4, so he's going to go up in price. That is a certainty. Sorry, I'm absolutely wrong there. He's played 80 the last 2 weeks. I thought he'd come out for a spell. Look, Connor Watson, the 13 is his best spot. There is no doubt about that. But yeah, Victor Radley coming back, that hurts him. Oh, baby, if he could play 80, he'd be a serious option. 92 on the weekend. He's 445k. It's a shame. It's a shame about the big fella coming back. Yeah, right. Sorry about that. Yep, Connor Watson flogging out 80 minutes. Easy as you like. I didn't expect that with how the interchange looks. Look, this is one that's the ball buster for Terrell May. Is the bench of Sewell Wong, Nafua White, Egan Butcher, and himself. Terrell May, I think he is a sell, unfortunately. I've been sort of looking at a bit of a world where I can keep him. I sort of had myself convinced that he would be an option, if I keep him for round 13. Lindsay Collins is going to play Origin, but they've also got Spencer Leniu coming back next week. How they all fit into the one mould, I don't think it happens. He's got a break even of 91. He's projected to lose 30k off scoring 60. So if he goes another 24, he's going to absolutely bottom out. I don't want to get rid of him because I'm worried that 1 week he's just going to randomly get 55 minutes and he's going to score 66 points. But 37 and 29 the last 2 games. 30 minutes against Melbourne, 27 minutes against St. George. I'm jumping off. I think we've got to jump off. I think for, again, 500k, we can do so much more than with that. I think Terrell May is a dead set sell. All right, Canterbury Bulldogs into West Tigers for the Saturday game. We've got Connor Tracy at fullback, Jacob Carraz and Bronson Jerry stay as that centre pairing. That is awesome news for Bronson Jerry. Awesome news for Jacob Carraz. Had a little look at Bronson Jerry. Look, I was really keen on him. I saw his break even and I thought he would be a serious option. Although I had a little bit more of a look into his scores from the other week against the Knights. Look, a 64 with a try probably doesn't excite me as much as what I thought it was going to. Look, 27 points in runs, which is really, really good. 28 the week before, 19 for the week before that. His attacking upside is really, really good. He's been getting line breaks. He's got a try last week, which was really, really good to see. But I just don't know how much more he can score than a 64 or an 80. Like, he's well priced. He's 400k. I think he's a serious option, but I've had a couple of people talk to me. There was a guy talking to me about front row forwards and should we bring in a cheapie or bring AFB in? There was a couple of guys talking about Max Plath or Eliesa Katoa. Always buy the gun. It doesn't matter, like cash generation or not. Set that aside. You do better at Supercoach with points. This is a game of points, not a game of cash generation. Although cash generation does really help. If you're looking to go points, I would be more inclined to go Ruben Garrick for 200k more if you can swindle that. Or somebody else, somebody with an upside that can clearly go 100, 120 plus. He's a decent option if you already have those sort of players, but yeah, I'm not looking at him this week, I don't think. Stephen Crichton, Josh Adokar, Matty Burton, he's been playing really well. Joshy Curran is a real winner there. He moves into the front row forward starting spot, but look, you take that with a grain of salt. They've been chopping and changing their starting lineup an hour out before kickoff anyway. But Joshy Curran, really good option. If you're running Terrell May in your front row forward and you've got Joshy Curran in your second row forward like I do, switch them up and then bring another second row forward in. It's easy days. Other than that, Sam Hughes is on the bench. Hopefully he can pump out 35 to 40 minutes. He's been going really well. We can keep him into the fray. For the Tigers, not a great deal going on there in that back line. Alamalo, he comes onto that wing. Didn't have a fantastic game last week, but still he gets into the side there. Lockie Galvin at the 6. Look, we've talked about players that you can sort of jump on a little bit later and whatnot. He looks really, really good. The last couple of weeks, he's 408k. He got a 54 last week. Really impressive stuff. 35 against Penrith, you expect that against Penrith, a bit low. But look, apart from that, his games, he's been fucking awesome. He's averaging nearly 60 points a game. He's got a 72 in his average, a 66, 54. Really good stuff there from Lockie Galvin. I'm running Lockie Galvin and Luke Brooks. Everything tells me not to do it, but I think I'm going to run Lachlan Galvin over Luke Brooks this week. Leave Luke Brooks on the pine. He's only been getting 40s. Lockie Galvin up against hard matchups getting 50. They got absolutely walloped last week against the Broncos and still pumped out 50-something. So, look, I think Lockie Galvin is probably going to be the play for me as a starting 5'8 this week. Look, it's hard, but he keeps getting tackle busts. He keeps getting offloads. He's running the ball, which is a little bit more than what we can say for old Lukey Brooks. He's having a bit of a hard time at the moment. Supercoach-wise, playing fantastic rugby league. Appy Coruscant, please don't sell Appy Coruscant. A couple of people have asked me about that. He scored a 35, should have been nearly 70. If he scores 70, you aren't talking about this. If he doesn't go off with a sore back, again, nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about selling him. Leave him in your squad. He's doing well. He kicked one goal, or he didn't even kick a goal, last week. And still, he'll go better. Their run sort of opens up a little bit. They've had Penrith and the Broncos in quick succession, so leave that. Samuel Afainu, look, I still think he's a decent buy. I think if you are looking for someone to run out in your front row forward as a bit of a cheapie, if you're looking to downgrade Terrell May, I still think Samuel Afainu is a decent buy. 32 on the weekend, had 10 in the bin. He would have played 80, I believe. I think Benji Marshall really wants two edge forwards that can play 80. I think he is the guy that will play 80. Still cheap at 351k. Look, I'm not deterred by the 32. I'm probably going to look at going a better option, than what that is. His break even still 16, so he's going to make some cash. Look, he's only projected to get 40 and he'll still make 20k. So look, it's not diabolical for him. The next couple of weeks are really good. He's got the Doggies, the Knights, the Dolphins, the next 3 games for them. He does not play round 13, but still 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. If you're looking at guys that sort of get good coverage for your buy rounds, if you've got enough people playing round 13 already, I think he's a good get. If he can bust out 50s and 60s, he's priced at 350k, he's a decent buy. Other than that, Johnny Bateman is going under the radar a little bit as well. Like I said, with Samuel Afainu, really, really good coverage over that origin period. Johnny Bateman the last couple of weeks, even though last week they got absolutely walloped, he pumped out a 65. His break-even of 21, he's 558k, set to go up in price. What's he been averaging? Sorry, I'm a bit slower on this today because fucking Supercoach has changed absolutely everything and I've lost all reasoning of where everything is. But so bear with me for a bit. I've got to try and find some scores here. Last 2 weeks playing 80 in the middle. He has got 87 and 65, which is really, really good. Really, really good from him. Just bringing up his stats now. I think he's a bit of an option, really. He doesn't have any attacking stats. He is set to go up in price, 558k. If he continues to play in the middle, I think he's a serious option, to be honest. 43 tackles on the weekend. He's tackled his fucking tits off. 2 offloads, really, really impressive. 23 points in runs. Decent. Week before, playing in the middle against Penrith, 24 points in runs. Attacking upside. He could be an option. He could be a serious option, Johnny Bateman. 558k, I like it. I really, really like it, old Johnny. Maybe not this week. Maybe looking into the next couple of weeks, that could be an option. We'll keep a bit of an eye on him this week to see what he sort of scores, how he progresses in the middle there. He hasn't played a lot of 13 in the NRL. I know he's played a lot of it in the Super League over there. So we'll be looking at him. Absolutely, we'll be looking at him. All right, on to the Gold Coast, Melbourne. Look, a week before I saw this Melbourne match up against the Gold Coast Titans and thought, shit, they're going to put 60 on them. Gold Coast was sensational last week. The Warriors come out and dusted 12 on them really, really quick, and I thought, oh, shit, here we go. It's going to be an absolute shellacking, but they came back. They did really well. They were down on troops a little bit at the end as well. They looked good. They looked good. Their big three stepped up. AJ Brimson at fullback, really good option there for us as well. If the Titans didn't have such a shit origin coverage, really start looking into AJ Brimson if he's set to get that fullback spot. If they string a good couple of games together and he is there in the fullback position, next couple of weeks, I'll be seriously looking at AJ Brimson. Harley Smith-Shield has a low BE. He is set to rise in price, although I don't really like it. I don't like the option there for Mr. Harley Smith-Shields. Tanner Boyd had a really good game. Really good to see him have a good game. He has been bashed from pillar to post about his efforts, his ability, everything about him. But look, he's a really good young halfback. Putting Kieran Foran at halfback and Tanner Boyd in the 6, letting Kieran Foran control the team and where they need to be is sort of giving him a bit more time. Big one here is Jamin Jolliffe. Look, the last couple of weeks, he sort of scored really, really well. He's starting to get up there in a price rise now. So I'm not sure if you can jump on him. But look, he looks really, really good. The only thing I'm worried about Jamin Jolliffe is the buy period that the Titans have. It's a bit dodgy. But anyway, Jamin Jolliffe, 600k, break even of 70, so you could probably stay off a week. But his last couple of games, he's been absolutely phenomenal for the Titans. There's been a lot of talk about how they're going to go now that Tino Fa'asuamaleaui is out. But this guy has stepped up to the plate, absolutely. Last game, since round 4, he's got 63, 55, 94, 52, 64. The last 3 games, though, he's played over 60 minutes at front row forward. Serious option. He plays the next 4 weeks. He's got Melbourne, Cowboys, Newcastle, Broncos. Round 14, 15, 16 is probably where you would want to get him in that middle buy period. Then plays 18, 19, 20, and so on and so forth, and they don't have a breather there for the rest of the season, actually. Look, he's a good option, 600k. Not someone I'll be looking at, but if you are looking to move Terrell May up to someone, 60-something minutes at front row forward, week in, week out, huge on it. David Fifita. Now, one of my greatest purchases this year has been David Fifita. Every week, I see him coming off the fucking bench and it shits me to no end and I think, oh my God, no, I've made a terrible mistake. Each week he has done so. He has absolutely brained it. He has a break-even of 42. He is 820k. So if you didn't jump on him, you're still going to be paying upwards 800-something K for him. Last 4 rounds, 81 in 80 minutes, 67 minutes, 57 minutes, and 60 minutes the last 3 weeks. He's gone 71, 86, and 126. They are fucking huge numbers there. Next couple of weeks are a bit tricky though. Melbourne into the Cowboys. Newcastle for round 11. Then he's got the Broncos round 12. He'll get up for that game. He always does every single year. Look, if you can afford him, you're still going to get another 4 weeks of potentially 100-plus games. There was a run last year that Dave Fafita went on. He went on 100-plus games. Week in, week out, he was a set and forget. He was nearly a captaincy option every single week when he was doing that. So David Fafita is a serious option, I believe. Look, again, origin period will probably scare a lot of people off. Only 3% of ownerships have him. I just love it. It goes back again. People were talking about Eliesa Katoa, and everyone jumped on Eliesa Katoa, which has been a really, really good buy for players. But again, I have this stigma where I just say, no, if you can afford the gun, if you can afford the big guy in that position, get the big guy in that position. And I think Dave Fafita's outscored him every week bar 1 week, the last 4 or 5 weeks where I've had him. So really happy with how that's all going. Bo Fermor's doing well. He's starting to pump out some decent numbers as well. For the Storm, Pappenhausen, look, I expect a big game out of Pappy. Only 70-something on the weekend, but still really good. Tyron Wishart jumps on the wing there for Xavier Coates. He is out. I would not be jumping on Tyron Wishart. Please don't do that. Cam Munster, very popular purchase this week. He went huge last week. He looks to be really gelling with Sean Bloor. Sean Bloor just kept getting offloads upon offload last week. He looked really, really good, and Cam Munster's sort of benefiting off that really well. I like it. Again, look, if it's not this week, it's not at all, because there's only 4 weeks where you can get him for Origin, but those 4 weeks he could go absolutely off his head, especially this week. Draws nice and easy for the Storm going into the finals. He'll make you a stack of cash anyway, so yeah, really, really good. Like I said, Harry Grant finally got a 90-something game, 95 for Harry Grant. Awesome for owners. Scored a try, set another one up. That is the Harry Grant that we purchased. That is the Harry Grant we want. Again, if you are looking to go Appy or something, please don't go Appy to Harry Grant. If you have enough cash to move a Danny Levi or a Lussick to Harry Grant, I think that's probably more the play. But yeah, Eliesa Katoa. I am seriously thinking about bringing in Eliesa Katoa this week. 693k. He's still only made 36k for the year, so he's still around the same price as what he's been getting. Break even at 51. Gold Coast Titans this week, which is really, really juicy news. He plays on the right-hand side, coming up against Dave Fafita, though, which is a little bit awkward. But still, I think the Melbourne Storm, they will know how to attack Dave Fafita better than anyone will. Next 4 games, Gold Coast, Sharks, Para, Manly. Really, really good draw options. Again, plays that round 14. He'll be nice and fresh coming off a bye where he plays the Knights. Into the Warriors. Round 16 coverage of the Dolphins. Canberra, West Tigers. That is the best run in the NRL over the next couple of weeks. Into round 19 for Eliesa Katoa. His scores have been really, really good. For the whole season, he's averaging 71 points. Average at 69. That's pretty much what you want from him. Got that 42 out of his rolling average, so we've started to make some cash even the next couple of weeks. 85 and a 78 the last couple of weeks. Just an out-and-out gun. I think we've got to start talking about this guy as one of the premier 2RFs in the game at the moment now. He's doing really, really well. Jerome Hughes and him are combining every single week for points. Joey Chan gets stuck on the bench as well. Super happy for Joey Chan. Super happy for owners of Joey Chan. Look, there's probably next week you can probably move him on. I don't know who you're going to move him on to, but if you have the option there to get rid of him, I will be getting rid of him. Scotty Drinkwater is the next one that I'm looking at. The Cowboys versus the Finns. Scotty Drinkwater. A lot of people, I pray that these people that are trading out Tom Trbojevic are going Tom Trbojevic to Scotty Drinkwater and not going to Trey Fuller. Although Trey Fuller has been really, really good, I just don't see a massive appeal about it. Scotty Drinkwater is down 65k for the year, a break-even of 148. His next opponents are the Dolphins into the Titans, which is a really, really good matchup. scored quite poorly the last 3 weeks, but before that, he had 3 games of 105, 77, and 144. That is the Scotty Drinkwater we all know. Next couple of games coming up, he's got the Dolphins, Titans, Souths, Tigers, and Roosters. He doesn't have a bye until round 16, which is really good coverage. In that, he's got 13, they've got the Roosters, potentially a couple of Origin players going out there into the Warriors round 14, 15 Canberra, and then 16 they'll be on the bye. If you were looking at bringing in Scotty Drinkwater, I think there's every opportunity where you could run. Look, I'm not that keen on it. I think I will have Scotty Drinkwater in my team. I'll probably be looking at him, depending on how he goes this week. It'll either be next week or round 11 that I'll be looking to bring him in. I'm not sure about bringing him in for Tommy Turbo. I think more Reece Walsh might be an option. If Reece Walsh can make some cash, Scotty Drinkwater can lose some cash, I think that'll be the play. But yeah, over the Origin period, he is a really, really good option. Doesn't play around 16 or 19 though, so you have to keep on to that. But yeah, massive break even, set to lose a stack of cash, keep an eye on him. If the Dolphins can keep him quiet the next 2 weeks, he's going to be really, really, really handy. Viliame Vailea, he goes into the centres. Semi Valeme, I've got to stop calling him Valeme. He comes onto the sting as well. Tommy Dearden, he's been playing really, really well. If you've got him in your 5'8 spot, he's probably been one of the best purchases for the year. Fidi Furiaki owners, be nervous. Helam Lukey has been named on the interchange. Another one to watch is fucking Thomas McKaylee. Thomas McKaylee brained it last week. I think he looked really, really good. I don't think it's too good for their forward rotation. I'm worried about Ruben Cotter this week. He's been playing big minutes, Ruben Cotter, and he's been scoring 50s and 60s, which I've been really happy with, but I think this week it may all come crashing down. All right, we'll jump on to the Dolphins. Dolphins, look, a couple of players from the Dolphins did really, really well last week in a losing side and in a side that only scored fuck all points, although they bombed some. I think the Knights, I'm a Knights supporter, and I think the Knights were bloody lucky. Trey Fuller, bottom dollar, 204K, 123 break even. If he scores 50, he is set to make 150K cash. Oh, look, it is Jareem Buller all over again. I'm not into it. 87 and a 99. Didn't score a try last week, but still really, really impressive. Tackle bust looked really, really good. I'm just not into the bottom dollar guy. So much deliberation about the hammer coming back in a week or two. He'll be wanting to push back before Origin as well. I just can't see it. I can't see a world where I want him. I mean, the draw's really good. Cowboys, Manly, Tigers, New Zealand, Canberra. But how many of them does he play? You know, he might get the Cowboys and the Cowboys could dust them up and he doesn't score very well. Goes to Manly. Manly have a decent game and he doesn't score very well. Or he could absolutely brain it. You know, I think even if he brains it over the next couple of weeks, let's say the hammer comes back in 2 weeks. He's at 423K. You've then got a guy at fullback that's 423K that you've got to try and get rid of. And then who do you move him on to? How do you sort of sort that out? You know, it's a tricky one. Don't think Trey Fuller is going to stay there for the next couple of weeks. Look, he may come back into the fullback spot over the Origin period, but again, I'm not 100% sold on it. I think if you go there to free up some money and you can make some big noises anywhere else, do it. But yeah, Jack Bostock on the sting there. I am probably going to look at selling him this week. Flute not trading him out the last couple of weeks, and yeah, I somehow jagged it that he's gone up an extra something 100K. Jermaine Osako is the one I am very interested on this week. It sometimes takes you a bit of a kick in the bum, a good 100 score to realise what you're sort of missing out on, but he has lost 100K. He has a break even of 40. I know a lot of his points come in the last couple of minutes, but he's a goal kicking winger, which is really, really what I'm into. Next couple of weeks, he's got the Cowboys, Manly, Tigers, New Zealand, Canberra. Plays every single bye round. He will be there. He's a captaincy option or a vice-captaincy option for that. Before this week's ton, he was still averaging 63 points. So, you know, he does not have a game where he's gone below 43, which is really good for your wingers. I'm thinking of going him this week just to boost up my CTWs. I think that'll be the option. Max Plath, another one, huge break even. He's only 440k. His output has been really good. The thing I do not like about Max Plath is the bench. Josh Kurt Donahue, Ray Stone, Connolly, Lemu. I'm a little bit worried on it. I'm going to power through these next couple. Newcastle against the Warriors, David Armstrong, bottom dollar, 84 points on the weekend. Really, really good showing. I think I'm going to bring him in. I don't want to, but to make some big plays, I think I'm going to bring him in this week. I think he's a play. He should be there. If he has another blinder against the Warriors, I don't think they'll worry about this Fletcher Sharp. He's come in, he's handled himself. He was super, super busy, looked unreal. Jaden Brayley, another one. Look, I don't have it in me to jump onto it, but I can understand people doing it. I'm not going to waste a trade in fullback for a bloke that's got his best score being 50 or 60. I don't think I'm going to do it. Kai Pearce-Paul was a little bit average, 44 on the weekend. Dylan Lucas is going from strength to strength. If someone had told me that Frizzell is going to be out for 5 weeks, I probably would have jumped on him, but every week we talk about, Frizzell will be back soon, so we keep jumping off him. Other than that, not a great deal going on. Dane Gagai scored a try, is kicking goals. He doesn't look very comfortable kicking goals, but he is kicking goals. But yeah, other than that, not a great deal going on there with the Newey Knights. For the Warriors, look, they looked like they were going to run in 1,000 points against the Titans, but not to be. So we've got Chance back there. He got a 90 on the weekend. Really, really good. If you went him last week, I think that was the week to go him. I would not be jumping on this week. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, a lot of people are selling him, but look, he's an out-and-out 50 every single week in the centres. I'll take that. I've got bigger issues with Schillers and Terrell Mays to worry about. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Sean Johnson, he scared the shit out of me. Someone had a guy I was playing in my head-to-head league, had him as captain, and he was on bloody 55 points in 12 minutes, and I was shitting my pants. But anyway, he slowed up a little bit, but still 90. Really good play. If you held on to him over Nathan Cleary for the week, good play. Adam Fanua-Blake, one of the most purchased front row forwards. I think if you want to upgrade Terrell May, jump on him. Everyone keeps saying he can't keep scoring tries, but he makes tackle breaks. He makes offloads. He makes 1,000 runs a game. He looks really, really good. I'm a massive advocate for AFB. I just can't afford him. My front row forward's doing fine, so I'm not going to spend that money on it. We'll jump into Cronulla versus the Dragons. Sorry I'm running through these, but I'm running out of time. For Cronulla, they had a massive game on the weekend. Flogged the lowly old Raiders by 40 points. Nico Hines, huge, 160. If we said this last week, if you're going to go one of the halfbacks, either a Nico Hines or a Cleary, jump on a Nico. He is the number one ball player there. He does not have Braden Trindle to contend with. Looks the goods. Ronaldo Mulatalo had a bit of a down game, 40-something points there. Just didn't see the ball enough. They just kept attacking that right-hand edge and absolutely slaughtered the Canberra Raiders. They were making inroads there and just kept a good thing going. Kyle Iro, again, base stat beast, got a line break, still punching out huge numbers. It is still not too late to get onto Kyle Iro. 395k. Don't think, oh shit, he's made 180, 190k. I can't get on him. He's going to be worth 600k. I think. I honestly believe he'll be 600k at some stage. So I reckon you could jump onto him. Britton Nickera. Really good from him. Finally got a bit of an attacking game in him. Still, his base has been down a little bit from the previous years. Got a 90-something there, which is good to see. But yeah, look, I'm a little bit worried about Britton Nickera. I think he's a good buy. He's a superstar. But the next couple of weeks, he's got a really hard run. The Sharkies have got a really hard run apart from this game. He's got a very low BE, I believe. Sorry, I'm working around this fucking new supercoach thing. It's doing my head in. Break even to 50, he's 595k, a discount of 114k on him, so that's awesome. He's got the Dragons this week. That's the Derby, so they could be up for that. The Dragons, you don't know what you're going to get. Into Melbourne, Sydney, and Panthers. I'll probably be looking at him round 13. Because that seems to be a bit more of a better buy. He's got Parramatta into the Broncos, Dolphins, Bulldogs, Titans, Tigers. Really juicy stuff coming up during the bye period for these blokes. Cam McInnes had another whale of a game. He looks really, really good, but I think he's a smoky for Origin. He's been playing that well. For the Dragons, wasn't to be for the Dragons. Look, Zachy Lomax is back into the centres. Still got a really, really good score in a well-beaten side. I'm just a little bit worried that he'll go back to his centre scores that he's been getting the last couple of years, opposed to his wing scores where he's been getting so much action and getting so much balls. There isn't a great deal going on with the Dragons. I have no one there that I am keen on, no one there that I'm thinking about. Kyle Flanagan, if you've still got him, you need to sell him. You could nearly move him on to a Max Plath in the 5'8" role. Oh, yeah, look, we need to get rid of Flano. Should have got rid of him a couple of weeks ago when he'd made 70, 80K. Yeah, look, for the Dragons, there's not a great deal there. Tyrell Sloan's been decent without being fantastic, although he is stuck at fullback position. Yeah, it's just nothing going on. Jaden Sewer had a really good game, but that's about it. Look, I think that's going to wrap us up for that team list. Trades this week. I'm still undecided. At the moment, I am using a boost. I am using a boost because I can get some players in that I think are out-and-out stars. I'm nervous about doing it, but I think this is what I've got so far. Trading out Terrell May, Schiller, and Bostock gives me a lot of cash to go with. Going to run the gauntlet. Dave Armstrong in fullback position there for the Knights. I think he'll be there for the next couple of weeks if he has a good game this week as well. Then I'll bring in Eliesa Katoa and Jermaine Asako. So bringing in two guns, trading out three players that I'm not keen to sit on, and I'll run the gauntlet on a Dave Armstrong this week. It'll set me up nicely. I will then have 20 really good players that I can run with. My non-scoring players this week will be Smithies, Brooks, Armstrong. Talagi looks to come back into the fray as well. Now that we've got the news of Clint Gutherson, if you have Talagi, do not sell him. It looks as though he will be running in at that fullback spot. The early mail is on that. But anyway, that is all we've got time for, guys. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for coming in. Take care, legends. Cheers.